The church in Corinth made it really hard for those exploring Christianity to find out what Jesus might mean for their lives. They were off-putting in so many ways, as we have observed through this series. Not only in the ways we talked about in this week, through their showy worship and dress, but also, as we have seen in previous talks, their favoritism, their quarreling, and the way that they disregard the true message of Christ. You see, this is a huge deal, not only because it can make people uncomfortable to turn them off to church, but also because ultimately, when we brand ourselves as Christians, we represent Christ. And when we do that poorly, we turn people off from God. I've been spending some time reading through the Sermon on the Mount, which is regarded by many as Jesus' most influential teaching. It's found in Matthew's biography of Jesus' life in the New Testament in chapters 5 through 7. I won't quote its entirety, but I would encourage you to read it. In his sermon, Jesus paints this picture of radical, selfless love that his followers are called to. Turning the other cheek, going the extra mile, and being ruthless against hypocrisy, to just name a few topics, is what he covers. In reading these words, it struck me that there are more than 2 billion self-proclaimed Christians in the world. And if we all simply love the way Christ loves, the world would be a tremendously different place. But the truth is that many people are far from Christ because of how Christians represent him. We can be the barriers. Now, obviously the answer here isn't to hide our faith so that we can continue to act in whatever way we choose. Rather, we aim to be more like Christ in the way we speak and act. This can be a tall order. If you're like me, you fail to do these dozens of times a day. But a small place we can start is just by reflecting on ways we might be turning people off to Jesus and simply ask for his guidance in reflecting. Maybe you have a group of friends at work who pull you into gossip. What might it look like for you to respectfully pull yourself out and let them know you are trying to keep away from disparaging comments toward others? Maybe you hold a political viewpoint you know can be decisive in certain scenarios. What would it look like to try to bring people together in a thoughtful conversation where everyone is acknowledged and heard before it turns into an argument? These are simple scenarios that happen to many of us each day, and with intentionality and prayer, we can choose a way that reflects the love of Christ and begin to chip away at the barriers the world puts around us as our hearts long to access the living God.